got a chuckle out of you there, partner. A welcome change.
It was, yeah, that was a funny statement to say. We're a tournament that's had pretty much extra innings every other game to have one go off early after the rain today. It makes me laugh.
Speaking of the rain today, how about the grounds crew? A field now here at Southern Miss that it doesn't look like it's rained today.
Needed a little sun, got some help from Mother Nature to peel the clouds off and burn off some of that extra water. They did a phenomenal job getting this thing ready today.
As Jaslyn Crowder goes down on strikes, here's Tori Charters, who was on base and had a front row seat when Jaslyn Crowder scored. And the Morgan Turcoli walk-off serves were the surprise of the tournament, and honestly, I thought they had a little bit more left in the tank. They just kept coming, and they almost found a way to win that ball game as well.
They ran out of lives is what it is. They just wouldn't be killed for 3 days, and were given several opportunities in that game, and that was the well-pitched game that you thought you might see earlier. No runs through 8 innings. It was fantastic softball. Every at-bat meant something.
3 balls and a strike now to Tori Charters.
If we're quiet, we're still getting our lineup cards filled out. I mean, that's how fast this game got up and running.
Within 10 minutes of us getting the lineup cards, as Charters goes to first base with a 5-pitch walk with 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Inside the circle is one of the most dominant pitchers in the country, Jordan Dixon, the senior. A record of 31-7, a 1.75 earned run average. This her 35th start and her 46th appearance. Her second appearance and start today. She's had 27 complete games in 251 and 2/3 innings. And boy, Turcoli swings and fouls off the pitch, and it's 0-1. Who does this benefit? Right? Does this benefit Louisiana Tech, who has all that positive energy after the walk-off win against Western Kentucky, or does it benefit Marshall, who ultimately is going to maybe be a little fresher here in an hour or so?
Well, you're in Friday. This is Marshall's 3rd game. La Tech's 4th game. There's no clear beneficiary right now. This is the time of the week where it's a mental game. It's a physical game now. It's been mental for a couple days. Now it's how much adrenaline do you have left? How strong, how sharp can you be? We saw some mental errors in that last game. That was just mental fatigue. It's been a long week, and the waiting around this morning didn't help.
Now more on that in a moment as the pitch in the dirt, and the count is 1-1 to Turcoli. So first pitch was set for noon today. We move it up to 10. The line of rain comes in at 10. It backs up first pitch to around,
it was 131.
What, 12:15? Then they backed it up to 1. Then they backed it up to 1:30.
Yep.
Official first pitch at 1:32. So we essentially had a 3-hour and 32-minute rain delay.
Yeah, it was, and that's hard on your brain. Players have a process that they go through to get ready for a game, and when it moves, it throws all that stuff out of rhythm.
Lined to second by Turcoli, and it sends Charters diving back to the bag at first, and a nice play by D'Orazio.
It really messes with pitchers more than anything else, and I thought that's what you saw in the first inning with Jordan Dixon. It was hit, walk, and the bases are loaded all of a sudden, and she hasn't gotten anybody out. So it was kind of a shock to the system, and then when FIU scores that run, that changes your mental state. Marshall's the team that you got to worry about mentally right now. La Tech comes off a win, right? They've got, they feel positive and good, but now they're physically fatigued. Both teams playing 2 games today. It's going to come down to mental acuity. Do you throw to the right base on a ground ball? Do you field your position correctly?
1-0 pitch to Taria Page. This is for ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. It's been a bit of a mixed bag here early for Jordan Dixon, a strikeout and a walk.
They're in his car.
2-0 pitch, and this is sent slicing foul. So for FIU, they get the double bye. We get a chance to visit a lot on the broadcast. You get a chance to see your team win on a short day yesterday. And then FIU took care of business earlier today. You've been actually kind of touring the local eateries.
Oh yeah, that's the best part of a tournament weekend. Honestly, the best part of being a contact with baseball or softball is instead of basketball where you fly in, you play, you fly home, you get a series, you fly in the day before, you're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's kind of what this is. We came in on Monday, so we've been here since Monday. Because when we booked the trip, we thought we were the 3 seed. We had to sweep La Tech. That's just not likely to happen. The travel was already booked. And now we're here a day early, so Letha's and donuts and eateries and watering holes.
As the 3-2 pitch is fouled back and the count stays full. Well,
I'm anti-chain. I don't like to go somewhere where I could go when I'm home. I want to go places where the locals go, and this is a different part of the country than where I live, so let's eat what the locals eat. The food here is great. You get a little Cajun influence, a lot of Deep South influence. It's fantastic.
well, I'm glad we have made a good impression. Here's the payoff pitch to Page, and it's fouled back again. Count stays at 3-2. Page was able to wrap out a hit, a 1-for-4 though game in the last one. In that 1-0 win in 10 innings, the walk-off against Western Kentucky. They go 9.5 innings, 2/3 of that bottom of the 10th with no runs. 3-2 one more time, and again, Page is up to the task to foul it off.
And just finishing that point on the food, it's a great conference when you look at the conference, the way it's spread out. You go all the way from Norfolk, Virginia with Old Dominion, and you go all the way out to El Paso, Texas, and you basically have kind of a swath of the bottom half of the country. You get your Texas barbecue, southern food, you get some Florida influence, you get the Cuban food, you go up to the mid-Atlantic, you get some of that. It's just cool. The cultures in this league are great.
Fly ball sent right the way of Cauliflower and an easy out to end the inning. So in the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors. To the bottom of the first we go with the Herd coming up when we come back.
All right, giving this back to Corinthian. Do we have 4? What? All right, bye. Is this mine? No, this is mine. Where's mine? I didn't drink mine, so I guess that's weird. Oh.
Shortstop, number 18, Morgan Zirkle.
Morgan Zirkle to lead things off. Starting shortstop for the Marshall Thundering Herd, working against Crystal De La Cruz, the sophomore. Stands in and the lefty deals the first pitch ball. De La Cruz making her 16th start in her 31st appearance, 11-3 record. ERA of 2. 1-0 pitch misses inside. It's 2-0. And over at first base, Tufi is in full throat early.
And that's a double entendre, in full throat. I like it. Meaning she's ready to go. She is doing what she does, but also she's being loud.
Very. And, she is the biggest cheerleader on that field. And I made a joke about it. She'll be calling balls and strikes by her reactions as if she's not already.
Yeah, that's what she does. She's known for that. She is one of the crazy Alaskans on this team, and I say that with the utmost respect possible because she backs it up with good play. She's an excellent fielder, and when you need her, she'll come through with a big hit. She's done that sporadically in this tournament. There she is there with the big eye black all over her face. I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Malcolm told me that she's part Samoan, and she's intimidating as heck out there, man. I'm telling you, intimidating.
I called it her war paint.
That's
earlier,
what it is.
Her war
Yeah,
paint on her face.
for
I mean,
sure.
She's ready for battles.
Teixeira wears it for FIU too. She wears war paint. She wears some gold and blue panther like claw marks on her face. It's crazy.
2-0 pitch to Zirkle, misses. It's 3 balls and no strikes. Makes you wonder, is De La Cruz just how careful is she being? Or is she missing a little bit here early?
She needs to just loosen up. You know, the start and stop of everything. She's been in the dugout for a couple hours, and just got to loosen up, get that arm loose, get into your rhythms, make the pitches you need to make early. She pitched yesterday, so the sophomore just, you know, trying to, you know. And the other thing is they drag the infield, and you're looking for the place to step. And I didn't realize this. There's a called strike. I didn't realize this. I talked with Shannon Sale after the FIU Marshall game, and she said that she had a hard time with the footing because the different stride length of Dixon. So Dixon made a divot, and Sale's making a little bit longer divot.
Swing and a miss by Zirkle. It's a strikeout for De La Cruz.
That's a big strikeout.
It is. That's strikeout number 58 on the year. She has got a better than 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. De La Cruz, another one of these first team all CUSA players. And you know, these top 2 or 3 teams in the league, their lineup's littered with the top players in the league, and that's why they are here still playing.
Yeah, well, you had 1-2 earlier, now you've got 2-3. So these are the creme de la Cruz, if you will, of the players, pitching-wise, hitting-wise. I mean, Zirkle's a big out. If you can keep her off the bases, you're doing work. She does not head back to the dugout very often from the batter's box.
She was 2 for 4 earlier today. In the loss to FIU, had an infield single and another single. As the count moves to 1-1 to Alicia Durazio. Durazio, a .406 hitter. Zirkle, Durazio, McCord, 3 of the top 8 hitters by average in the league.
They hit, they run, they produce.
Right, Durazio and Zirkle, 2 of the top 8 base stealers in the country, not just Conference USA in the country, for a Marshall team that leads the country. When they get on base, they move it around at a clip of better than 3 a game.
Yeah, that's the way they manufacture runs artificially by advancing runners, and then they back it up with good batting averages. So they get a runner on, they move her over, and then they drive her in. It's textbook softball. It's the way the game's supposed to be played.
1-2, swing and a miss. On a pitch down just above the dirt, and that's back-to-back strikeouts by De La Cruz to start the ball game. We had a pitcher's doing the last ball game.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really think we should expect anything different in this one.
Well, I mean, defense is supposed to win you the championship. So the team that feels their position, pitches better, turns double plays, that's the team that's going to come out of here victorious. Because these batting averages, remember, that's a batting average over the course of the season, and you get to feast on some of the dregs of the country and some of the teams that didn't make this conference tournament. But now it's power on power, so you're going to have to figure out a way to get that runner over and get her in, because it's not going to be from a barrage of hits.
1-0 pitch is pulled foul. The count goes to 1-1. Taylor McCord, first team all-league catcher, and young lady who went 0 for 1 earlier today in the loss to FIU, had a pop-up to short, did have a sac fly, brought in the only run of the day for the Herd in that 4-1 loss, and then also reached on a walk, was stranded at third in the first inning of that game. Pops it straight up here, shedding the mask, making the catch is the all-freshman team catcher for the Lady Texters in a 1-2-3 inning. And so a 1-2-3 inning for Marshall as we go to the second scoreless in Hattiesburg. Leading off for Louisiana Tech in the top of the second inning, it's Pauline Tufy, along with Berkeley Callip and Marilyn Rosado, 5, 6, and 7. Josh Wessel alongside Ryan Rose, and Ryan has been missed inside the booth as we go to game 9. And
So sweet.
But you've been busy. You've had
Yeah.
other responsibilities.
They asked me if I would help broadcast some of FIU games. I'm reticent to do that. I've got great stories for the players, but I got a lot. Our fans who can't be by television rely on the tweets and all the extra stuff that comes with it. So it's hard to do both because I have a one-track mind. I tend to focus on one and ignore the other. This is why these two teams are good, Josh, is because when you play a team that you should beat, you just got to get through the top of the order. But when you get to this part of the order for these two teams, you look at the averages, nobody's batting below 250. I mean, there's still good hitters down at 6, 7, 8 in these two lineups.
Big swing and a miss there by Tufy. Tufy had a double. It was almost a walk-off 2-run home run in the bottom of the 7th in a scoreless game against WKU in the game that ended just about 40 minutes ago. 1-1 pitch. Fouled straight back, and it's 1-2. And I thought when it left the bat and it kept going to right center that it was almost out. It hit at the base of the fence. She was held to a double. And then they pull out of the ball game Downing, bring in again Ike, and then Ike sets him down 1, 2, 3, and gets out of a 2-on at second and third no-out jam to extend the game.
Yeah, and they've had a flyout that the freshman pinch runner didn't run on from third, which, you don't know. I think she would have been out because the throw was really hard coming in. But, yeah, and Ike was a change of speeds. It wasn't that she was faster than Downing. It was just her pitch looked so much differently than Downing's did.
Tufy rung up looking on a called strike 3, and she turns and has maybe some words of instruction for Berkeley Callip as to maybe what to expect, to maybe where the strike zone is. But as we watch this again, at the knees, painted the black, beautiful pitch.
I don't think, and I'd have to check, I don't think these two teams faced each other this year. And so they haven't seen Dixon this season. They've seen her here at the tournament, but it's different to stand in the box against Jordan Dixon, let me tell you. So every time you get looks at a pitch, you want to help the next lady in the lineup because you're probably not going to see a lot of stuff. She's going to blow some stuff by you. And again, Dixon, if you look at her year by year, certain teams have handled her, but very few this year. Matter of fact, FIU beating her today, just the second team to get a second win against her. Heck, she's 31-7. And her rise ball and her curve ball, devastating. There's a lot of hitters in this league that can't catch up to it. She is an elite level pitcher.
Ball and 2 strikes to Berkeley Callip. The appeal to see if she went, she did not, and it's 2-2.
They will sell a call also. You talk about Tufy at first for La Tech. Marshall will sell a call. They will literally pressure an umpire into making a decision. And it's like the whole infield and the coaching staff and the bench. It's fun to watch as a competitor.
2-2 fouled back.
And you can see when she pitches, Jordan Dixon literally puts her entire body into it. When she follows through, she's still coming forward and hopping and trying to get her feet under in case she has to field her position. That's how much of the entire body she uses when she pitches. She literally throws all of it into these pitch. Watch it.
Down low and the count runs full. Going back to your comment about selling calls, I've been in this exact spot for many games this year. The umpires that I've seen have not been one in the least bit intimidated.
No.
They, for the most part, have not been here. Put into play to third. Braxton comes up, throwing in the extension by DeShields, and there's 2 away here in the second for Marilyn Rosado.
The league is kind of broken out into regions for its umpires. There's one umpire that was in the last game that was from the Florida region because we have those umpires mostly. And then the other crew has one of them as well. And I'm sure the other umpires are coming from different parts of the country, like down here in the south, and then one from the Texas areas. So it's a good mix of umpires, and they have worked extremely well together this week.
pop up on the infield off the end of the bat. It's an easy play for Zirkle to win the inning. And so the side goes down in order in the second for Louisiana Tech. No runs, no hits, no errors. To the bottom of the second we go, scoreless still here for the Conference USA Softball Championship. As we roll to the bottom of the second inning, it's game 9. It's an elimination game once again in the loser's bracket of the conference tournament. 23rd ranked Marshall, Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech just coming off bouncing Western Kentucky on a walk-off hit 1-0 in the 10th.
And don't mistake me gushing over Marshall by saying they're the only elite team on the field. De La Cruz really showed you something when she pitched yesterday.
De La Cruz bare hands and goes to first. And Tufi, they're selling a call. By Tufi, it wasn't that close, but Tufi was going to make sure that she showed that the ball was there, the foot was there, and everything was hunky-dory. But how about that by De La Cruz? The last moment, going to the bare hand.
Fields her position. It's an added dimension of a pitcher. When you recruit one, it's like the last tick of the, she does this, she does this, she does this. Oh, by the way, and fields her position. One of the better left-handers in the conference, and a youngster. So these teams are going to have to face her for 2 more years.
How many good left-handers?
Not many.
Not many.
I've only seen
Blunt,
3.
Claire Blunt, UAB.
Blunt's good,
De La
and
Cruz.
La Tech has a second one. Bailey Allen, I believe.
Hit to third. Tufi gets pulled off the bag. So what does she do? Ho-hum applies the tag. Burdett is retired. And Tufi is getting a lot of compliments from us here early in this game, and rightfully so. And there you see, animated, energetic, just really setting the tone for her team. Coach Montgomery, by the way, set the tone for his team after that win. He immediately got on them, got them together, and said, okay, it's over. Move on. We've got to get this next one.
No celebration because there's another. We got to click the mindset right back to a pregame mode right now. We're in attack mode. We have another chance at life. We won our game. All right. I'll give you 10 more seconds to celebrate.
Right.
And pregame mode. It's like yeah, great for you. You beat the 8 seed. 1 is coming up, and it's here. Number 1 is right there. So get your game face on and switch on that switch, and let's go.
DeShields falls in an 0-2 hole. And so De La Cruz is trying to face the minimum through 2. Whereas Dixon has faced 1 over the minimum. She has had a walk and 2 strikeouts. It's a unique yawn in the heat of competition.
She's been messing with that mask and where it touches her chin. I noticed that in the last time we had her yesterday. She fidgets with that thing. It's just got to sit right correctly on her chin. That thing is obviously to displace, if a ball hits you, displace the strike all over your forehead and your chin. And just, idiosyncrasies. Every batter has it with their gloves or their feet or the way they dig in. It's a habitual game.
Count evens up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes to DeShields. DeShields had a rough game in the last ball game for her. Hit into a couple of double plays.
Yeah, FIU turned 2 important double plays, one with the bases loaded and one out in that inning where the sac fly came.
Hit to second, and a nice smooth throw to end the inning. And so the 4-3 put out retires this side. No runs, no hits, and no errors. 2 complete scoreless in Hattiesburg between Louisiana Tech and Marshall. So Louisiana Tech coming to the plate in the top of the 3rd inning. Allie Galaz, Carly Jensen, Jaslyn Crowder. 8, 9, and 1.
And La Tech is without their starting shortstop, Katie Smith. She's out for the whole week after getting a concussion in the FIU series to finish the regular season. So the right fielder plays short, the left fielder plays right, the DP, is in right field. It's crazy what they've had to go through to kind of piecemeal this thing together to stay alive this long.
But boy, have they done it so smoothly.
It doesn't, yeah, if I didn't tell you, the viewer, you wouldn't really know, because the right fielder was the shortstop last year, so it's not like she doesn't know what she's doing. But when you have a DP who's now playing in right, try to hide her, and she's had to make some plays.
Galaz fouls off the 1-1. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Galaz had multiple opportunities to be the hero against Western Kentucky, but I give credit where it was due, and that was to Ike of Western Kentucky, was able to find a way to get out Galaz, who's another one of these good hitters at the bottom of the Louisiana Tech lineup.
She's got a little pop in her bat. When she is able to get that base under her and unwind, she can hit the ball out.
Bats .338 in the 8th spot in the lineup with a .519 slugging percentage.
And that's because with Katie Smith in there, she'll bat higher in the lineup as the DP to get more at bats. And that's the flexibility Coach Montgomery has when a player goes down. He still has great players down here at the bottom of the order.
1-2 pitch hit well in the right field down the line, and moving over to put it away is Cauliflower for the first out. So now all of a sudden you look up and see it 6 in a row retired, going back to the first by Jordan Dixon, and Dixon is right back into a flow. And well, this one was trying to get down on the line, but Cauliflower was pinched towards that line and puts it away. And so here comes Carly Jensen.
You're not going to get a whole lot past Cauliflower, by the way. How many great plays did she make this week?
She did, and when Estrada went out, nicked up in the FIU game, they immediately moved Cauliflower over to left field.
She was amazing.
Looped into center field for a 1-out single. And the first hit of the game for Louisiana Tech comes at an opportune time because it puts a runner on base back to the top of the order in Jaslyn Crowder, who struck out swinging in the first.
Of course, this is going to be the first hit of the game when you've got 2 pitchers like De La Cruz and Jordan Dixon. It's going to be a duck snort. It's not going to be something solidly hit. I mean, those are the kind of hits you can get off of these two pitchers. It's not the line drive. It's not the blasts. They're going to fool you more often than not. Now it's what you do when you get a runner on. You've got to manufacture some offense, and that means get her over. You already have one out, so she's shortened the inning for you, but you've got to do something.
Jaslyn Crowder fouls off the first pitch she sees. To your point, Jaslyn Crowder, a second-team All-League outfielder, but playing shortstop because of the injury
Yep.
that you referenced.
And you're not going to take her out of the lineup. You got to keep her in there, and she's the best shortstop you got, so you just make do. You give her a ton of ground balls. She probably took ground balls Sunday and Monday back home just to go, oh, all right, give me the shorter glove. Let's go, you know.
And then she makes the diving play on the edge of the cutout behind second to preserve the game.
It was an outfield dive, wasn't it? It looked like an outfielder dive. It just had that completely laid out dive thing going. It was an amazing play. She's like a tweener. She's an outfielder and an infielder, and wherever you put her, she's going to just make plays. Just throw her body around until there's no more softball left to play.
2-1, that loops in his center field. And so back-to-back looping singles in his center. And all of a sudden, Louisiana Tech with a little something cooking here in the third.
Again, you're not able to get solid contact on Dixon. This one's sort of off the fists, but she's strong enough to muscle it out there. Nothing that you're going to go from first to third on because it's not solidly hit. But again, just enough to do something with a base runner. That's the job of the hitter with a one-out base runner. Just get her out to second. If you can be on base, great. That's gravy. But you've got to get that runner into scoring position.
Now Louisiana Tech coming into this tournament tops in the league in runs scored and runs batted in doubles and triples. They do a lot of things well at the plate. And again, it speaks to what Ryan was talking about, that depth in the lineup. And then I also think that there's a little bit of an intimidation factor that comes with playing Louisiana Tech because they're loud, they're energetic, they're in your face, they're rah-rah. And you've got to be able to mentally be able to handle that.
They're the West Division champ. They should walk around with some swagger.
Absolutely.
They've earned it. They've put it on the field.
Tapped into play, turning to try to get the lead runner. It's thrown away by Braxton. The runner coming home. The tag at the plate will never happen. The throw back to third, and everybody's safe. And there's runners at second and third after an error. And Charters reached on the fielder's choice. Then the error allows Jensen to score from second. Crowder to third. Charters advances to second on the throw to third. And whew, I need a break after everything that just happened on that play.
It's a fielder's choice, and the problem is Braxton can't set her feet and take a full throw. She's got to wait, and then she short arms it to give her a shortstop time to get to third base. Bad things happen when you take a little off. If you're a place kicker, if you're a golfer and you try to take a little off, you're inviting trouble, and that's what happened on that throw. She couldn't get her feet set and really make a hard throw, which is what you want to do when you have no time to react. But she had to wait for the shortstop to cover. Shortstop's got to come all the way over to cover third on that basically swinging bunt. It was a short tap. That ball did its job. Hard to get. The error moves the runners up. They either gave her a hit or a fielder's choice. I don't think she's got a shot to get the runner at first either. But
it was a fielder's choice.
Fielder choice. So she's going to third, but that's a tough play. And when you throw it away, here's that mental part we were talking about in the first inning. That's what usually separates teams at this level, is one costly error at the wrong time gives up a run.
And now look who's at the plate, the hero from the last game, Turcoli, and she took a rip at the first pitch she sees from Dixon. Okay, let's go back and again, thinking there. Is it basically impossible as a player to eat that play? Is there anything in her
She's
body
a competitor. There? She wants to get an out. She's got the ball. She wants to make a play, but there's not a play to be made there.
Right. No way she eats that. No way she could. Her body just wouldn't allow her instinctually to do it.
Exactly. She's a senior, and she doesn't want this to be her last game. She's going to do everything in her power to continue to play, whatever that is. A hit, a bunt, throw, a hard play defensively. She wanted to figure out a way to make an out there.
No balls, 2 strikes to Turcoli. It's up high. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
And she's going to have plenty of opportunity to make up for this at the plate later in the game. It's the 3rd inning.
A run on 2 hits and an error so far in this inning. Runners at second and third, 1 out. The 3-hole hitter at the plate, Dixon. Change up, shot to short. Circle coming home. The tag in time.
Not easy there for McCord to kind of hang in that play. She's got to be patient, wait for the ball to come to you, don't move too early. And a throw that's on the money. You got to get the lead runner there. You got the ground ball. Coach Montgomery is sending that runner. They got to try to score. They want to put the pressure on the defense. Well, the defense made the play. That's good, solid softball right there.
Taria Page now flew out to right in the first 2 in the inning. She's got runners at the corners. So as we watch it again, how good is this?
And I think Marshall is trying to argue, if you take that exact same replay, Marshall's going to try to argue that there was interference by the base runner there running. She's got to give the fielder some space to move and maneuver, even though she got an out there. If the umpire deems that she's obstructing the defender, they can call her out too. And that was the brief argument we got from the Marshall bench. And that's, again, she probably thinks she's not going to get that call, but she's got to go try to sell that call, because that's a possible call you could have. And the replay showed it. I mean, it messed with the shortstop. She had to kind of hesitate. So she's got something crossing her field of vision.
Runner going, throw short, cut off. There is a pickle, and handled well there by Marshall and DeRazio. They were able to do exactly what they needed to there. Get the runner back to first and keep the runner at third. You don't see that very often. So many times, teams just let that base runner steal second base.
It's a called softball play that try to induce a throw and then slip in there and get 1 stolen base out of it. And some players and some upperclassmen know how to handle that situation, and some panic. No panic out of Marshall. They steal bases for a living. They know what you're trying to do. They practice that all the time.
Perfectly said. 2 balls and no strikes, though, to Page. Page, her first swing was appealed as if whether or not she had gone around. She did not go around. 2 balls and no strikes. Top of the 3rd inning, winner gets FIU for the championship at noon tomorrow. But put down, squeeze play, it works, everybody's safe, and how about that play from Page?
That was a scouting play because no one's covering first. So everyone's running to the ball, and the catcher's running to the ball, so there's no one at home, so there's no one covering first. Coach Montgomery knew what Marshall was going to do there. They played right into his hands. You don't expect Page to bunt, and she bunted. Once Marshall did a great job getting to the ball, but there was nowhere to throw it. Watch the infield here. The catcher comes up. Now there's no one covering home, and there's no one covering first. She's got the ball. She's got nowhere to throw. That's a scouting play. Coach Montgomery knew Marshall would do that. They're not gonna. They're gonna charge the first baseman. The catcher's got to stay at home there because there's a runner at third. She doesn't. She gets the ball first. Now there's no one in either bag.
Incredible as the lead extends to 2-0. A bunt single for Page, who gets the run batted in, and Turcoli advances to second. Pauline Tuffy is at the plate, 0 for 1, having struck out, looking to start the second. And Tuffy, a big swipe at the rise ball, and it's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Is there anybody that does more of what you just said, scouting, than Coach Montgomery?
No, he's the king of it in this league. You'll see more shifts by La Tech's defense than any other team. And he prides himself on poring over the data. As much as he can collect, it just makes him a better coach. And he puts his players in a position to succeed. Will it succeed every time? No, but the numbers say that it will.
1-2, lifted high in a right center field. Drifting over for the out is Strebele, but an inning in which 2 runs on 3 hits and an error give Louisiana Tech a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 3rd in Hattiesburg. 2 runs now on 3 hits for Louisiana Tech. As the Marshall Thundering Herd now looking to answer. Abigail Estrada, Jordan Cauliflower, Chase Trebele, 7, 8, 9 due up here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And this becomes all of a sudden a big inning for Marshall. They need to answer. They have only scored a run today, and they've only scored 3 runs in this entire tournament.
They have no hits. Just get a hit. Get a hit, get on base. You can't do anything until you do that, so do that first. Just do it in steps. You can't hit a 3-run homer. The leadoff hitter can't hit a 3-run homer.
Correct.
So don't worry about it. Just get on base.
When I was looking at notes and frantically getting ready for this game in between as the pitch comes in for a called strike, and it's quickly 0-2 to Estrada. That was the biggest thing that struck out at me, or stuck out to me, was that, wow, only 3 runs for Marshall in this tournament. It speaks to how good the pitching is, but also that is a little surprising from the highest batting average team in the tourney.
Well, you got them on a neutral field, and you're getting each pitcher's best game. They are gearing up for you. And the later the season goes, there's scouting reports on those freshmen and sophomores, so teams have learned how to pitch you. The matchups when you get to this level are just intense.
Ground ball towards short, snagged there by Crowder, and she makes the play.
That was a hard play. Watch how she stabs this ball. She looked uncomfortable stabbing this ball. Watch this. Well, this is the replay from the previous inning where she scores on that bunt. That's a brilliant bunt, by the way. It's the RBI, but she stabbed the ball off the side. It was like an Olay play. If she misses that, it's danger time, because that's going to be a double for Estrada.
It was extension right there, no question. The extension that we saw.
It's just odd looking, because she was in position, and then she just at the last second kind of extended her hand out there. That's not the way you're taught. You start to get in front of the ball. She made it happen.
She did, and it goes back to her playing out of position. She's just such a great athlete. She just finds a way.
Well, and it's not. She's not an emergency shortstop. She played it last year, but she hasn't worked on it much this season. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I guess the word was not your everyday
Correct.
shortstop.
Not this year. Yeah, I would say she's playing out of position, but that doesn't give the whole context to it. She's just a good all-around softball player. You could put her behind the plate and be okay. She can do a little bit of everything.
1-2 to Cauliflower high. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You want a team full of those kind of ladies.
Oh,
you want a group of ladies that I don't care where you put me, just put me on the lineup card. We've seen pitchers hit this week. I mean, we've seen literally everything you can see. A no-hitter, an extra inning game that's scoreless.
Well, so far, the cherry on top of this Sunday as Cauliflower goes down swinging on strikes for De La Cruz's 3rd strikeout in 8 straight batters now retired, was the squirrel behind the home plate on the backdrop in the last ball game. That did it for me.
Little
We had a
crazy squirrel.
Yep, it's a crazy squirrel running right around the batter, umpire, and the catcher. Bunt laid down, no chance. A bunt single by Trebele with 2 outs, and it gives Morgan Zirkle a chance to come to the plate with the runner on base, and she's already homered in this tournament.
That's why I like Trebele hitting 9th, because she can do that. She can bunt her way on, and she becomes a second leadoff hitter. You see major league teams do this sometimes. They'll put someone who's maybe not the strongest batter when they swing, but really good, have great hands, that can drop down and knock one down there. La Tech is playing back a little bit. They're not expecting bunt because there's 2 outs, but she's good enough to get it in play. And you're right. Now, instead of being a prototypical leadoff hitter, Morgan Zirkle now becomes kind of a 3-hitter in this spot. She's got an RBI chance out on the bags, and you got a young lady hitting near 500 that has a chance to drive a run in. I'd kind of take my chances with that over anybody on this roster.
And Zirkle at 480, 72 hits. 12 doubles and 9 homers, and she singles through the right side, and trying to go first to third is Trebele. She slides in safely, the throw gets away, she pops up, no throw coming home to keep Zirkle at second. The throw was eaten, and let's watch the umpires here to see what was going on in all of the commotion.
The question is, are they going to call interference? and make sure that none of the relay throwers were interfered with by the runners. And I don't know if they stay on the wide shot, then we'll see it. Again, it's usually one mental error that costs you a run in a game like this. And see, there's the runner sliding in the path of the third baseman, and they are, well, now what they were arguing about was, did the ball get out of play? Yes, it did, so they moved the runner from second to third. That's what the argument was about. Did the ball reach an out-of-play area? Yes, it did.
Okay, so the ball went into the camera area.
Yeah, it's an implied out-of-play zone. Even though the camera is literally out on the field, it's an implied out-of-play zone. They're supposed to draw a little line around it. If the ball crosses that threshold, it's just like going in the dugout. You can't play a ball that goes into an out-of-play area, so they awarded the runner one more base. The error stands. If you're the third baseman, you've got to knock that ball down at any cost.
Ground ball ricochets off the leg of De La Cruz. Safe is Durazio, and just like that, we are tied.
And that is just simply, you can't allow Marshall an extra out. You move a runner up, you give them a bunt for a hit, you give them a base runner. If you give Marshall a ray of light, they're going to bust through that door, right back up the chute. And it just took a bad bounce on De La Cruz. There wasn't anything she could do. You're not really a fielder as a pitcher when it's hammered back at you.
Circle, the Conference USA Player of the Year, a top 10 base stealer. You saw the speed of her getting down the third baseline, and then she's also going to play some pro ball this summer. She's going to be playing for Team USA.
She was the last pick in the pro draft a few weeks ago, pick 26.
What was neat was I was reading this story about when she got drafted. She was at Fat Patty's, which is a staple in Huntington, West Virginia. She was right there with the team. They're chanting, "We are Marshall," when her name is announced. And I can imagine that scene in my mind as a community that just embraces that school and their sports teams. And so a neat moment. I would have liked to have been there, but really I can see it in my mind. Can't you?
They had a little lipstick camera there, and I watched a little bit of their post-celebration, and it was a celebration of the careers of those seniors. I was really impressed. Marshall, they did it right. It's a small-town atmosphere, and when you get to small town, they really get behind their schools. It's pretty cool. They support high school sports up there very well as well.
You're seeing the same thing here in Mississippi, rural Mississippi, where high school football is king.
Support Southern Miss. It's cool because as an athlete on a recruiting trip, it gives you an atmosphere you want to come be a part of.
Here's Taylor McCord swinging away at the 1-1 offering, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. McCord popped up in foul ground to Rosado to win the first, and now she's got a runner at first in a tie game here in the third.
And they go from no hits to 3 hits and 2 runs in the blink of an eye. That's just the potency of this Marshall team. Just because their averages are high doesn't mean they're hitting balls, all over the park. They get a lot of little singles too.
Line drive to center field, right to Louisiana Tech's center fielder and Torrey Charters to win the inning. But in the inning, 2 runs, 3 hits, and an error, and 1 left. 3 complete. We're tied at 2 here in Hattiesburg. Well, each team erupts for 2 runs on 3 hits and an error. And Ryan, you were looking in between that break at how many of those earned were or earned or unearned.
Yeah, I'm locked into ERA, so I pay attention to that stuff. One of the 2 against Dixon was earned, and neither of the 2 was earned against De La Cruz. That doesn't matter for win-loss. I mean, the players don't want to hear that mess. I'm just curious for ERA titles and things like that. I mean, Jordan Dixon's ERA is minuscule. You gotta send out a search party to find a big number for her.
Pushing back Cauliflower and right was the fly ball by Callip. Near the warning track, it's put away for out number 1.
The air's kind of dead. It's humid after the rain. A little dab for you on the out. So the air's a little heavier. Not like last night where it was a little thinner because he had a nice little breeze. The flag's is hanging limp out there after the rain we got this morning, and even though the sun burned off some of this water, it is heavy. As you're not going to see a lot of big flies tonight.
As that one fouled straight back by Marilyn Rosado.
And you can see when the camera goes wide how saggy that net is. It's just so full of water from the rain this morning, and it never got hot enough to kind of dry out everything. So it's just damp. And I'm sure when the ball lands in the grass and, rolling around, it's just a heavy ball tonight. So it's advantage pitchers in that respect.
Myself and Ryan, 2 people that can speak of damp, heavy air from South Mississippi, born and raised, and you living in Miami, Florida. Well, you really know.
Yeah. When you broadcast games that play outside, it's part of the game. If it's wet and moist, it's hard to get a lot of spin on a breaking ball when you're a baseball pitcher. Same thing for these softball pitchers. Sometimes it helps your grip, but if the ball's heavy, it's just not going to have all that motion when you deliver it. So you go power and then you go off speed. You kind of bag the curveball, and it can neuter a pitcher if that's their bread and butter, but it's not going to affect ladies like Dixon and De La Cruz.
The 1-2, swing and a miss by Rosado.
Yeah, that pitch still works.
It does indeed. And Jordan, our producer with Conference USA, he's from South Louisiana, so he knows.
Yeah.
He's from the swamps of South Louisiana. And
you draw an arc all around the Gulf of Mexico, whether it's South Florida or South Texas, we understand this stuff. Little bit of drop off there. Kind of a fast changeup if there's such a thing. That's what it looked like. The ball had a little drop at the end, and apologies to Rosado, the catcher. She's not hitting that ball. Not many batters are. It's just a good pitch.
Coach Montgomery is not a happy camper at the moment.
He understands momentum as well as anybody. He knows that, hey, we just came out here and got 3 hits off the pitcher of the year. Let's do something here. Let's put her on her heels. She is locking it back in. You don't want to see that if you're Coach Montgomery, because she could just reel off 12 in a row, retired just like that, and not think twice about it.
First pitch to Ali Galaz misses for ball 1. Speaking of, about Catherine Downing's week for Western Kentucky, the senior in her career. A couple of 2 7-inning no decisions.
Yeah, I felt bad for her. I saw her after the game. I wanted to go up and say, you should hold your chin up for how good of a year you had, how good of a career you had. But I that she just ended her career. I gave her some space. She had a tough week, but she played her butt off and just didn't statistically get rewarded for it. But her team knows how important she is to them. She is one of the big reasons why the 8 seed lasted all the way to Friday. That's not supposed to happen.
Ball and 2 strikes now to Galaz, who flew out to right in the 3rd to lead things off. With the bases empty, 2 outs, and as Ryan was talking about, Dixon threatening to settle back into a big-time groove. Swing and a miss. That curveball, devastating.
She's got the look. That's the look you did not want to see her start to get.
No runs, no hits, no errors. To the bottom of the 4th we go. Marshall looking for more when we return. 2-2 our score as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. 23rd ranked Marshall, 35 win Louisiana Tech. So we're down to the final 2 games of this tournament, and wouldn't you know, we've got the top 3 seeds, but they have certainly had to fight to get here.
It's been a long week, and you're just fighting to play one more game tomorrow. Everything is on the field right now. It's not over when you win it, but you can go to sleep tonight or not if you're that excited and be ready for a championship game. You wipe the slate clean because it's winner take all tomorrow. All that matters is having a bigger number in the line score bug at the bottom of the screen than the other team. And there's no clock, so it doesn't matter how much you get behind, you can always come back. And with these 2 pitchers, we're not going to see a whole lot more than that 2-2. This might be a 4-3 game.
Braxton, Burdette, DeShields, 4, 5, and 6 here in the bottom of the fourth. And a first pitch strike to Shaylin Braxton, and it's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Braxton muscles it right off her knuckles, and that is just foul.
Same ball
Just
that was
foul.
called foul in the FIU Marshall game earlier.
So close, hugging the chalk down the left field line. So close, and that is just being in great positioning.
And it's Bubba
time.
Ewert down there. That's one of the Florida umpires that I know. And he's right on line. He's right on it. Look at him. He's got the best look at it.
Wow, just
Yeah.
by
Blades
an
of grass.
inch. Yes. It's what the best thing I love to see, and I think some of the best doing it are NFL referees because of the speed of the NFL. They're in perfect position, looking at the perfect spot, making the perfect call.
And then replay confirms it. Because on replay, it looked like it was fouled by a couple of blades of grass. Coach Stanton was arguing for it. She wanted it. Obviously, she wanted a double in the corner. Somebody needs to take a lead. Because young players tend to tighten up when you get in the 6th inning and it's still tied.
Or the 10th inning? Or the 12th?
Anything bigger than 5 when you're running out of at-bats in your season.
2-2. Ground ball base hit back up the middle. So Braxton comes through. It's the 4th hit of the ball game off of De La Cruz for the Marshall Thundering Herd.
A good at-bat, too. She had to fight off some pitches. The disappointment of coming back after thinking you had that double, excellent job.
Oh, and you know, if it looked like a double initially to us, and Coach Stanton was arguing for it, think about Braxton, who's halfway to first. She's looking back across into the corner. It looked certainly like a double to her.
And we talked about it in the last half inning when she short-armed that throw to third with her shortstop covering. She was going to have a chance in the box to make up for that later, and she's hoping that she can be the go-ahead run and feel like, all right, mistake erased. We got our runs back. We're going to go get this thing done.
So the Braxton single, now Allie Burdette. Burdette's had a couple of hits this week. Burdette actually drew the start in the second game for the Herd. Was 1 for 2 with the single in the 6th against FIU. Had a pinch hit double in Marshall's first win of the tournament.
Base runners, man. You don't want to pitch to some of these batters with Marshall with base runners because things start to happen that go wacky on you. You got to be sharp, and that's hard to do when you're playing the second game of the day, your 4th game of the week. You've got to lock in and be sharp. You got to know what base to throw to. You got to be ready to cover for a bunt. You got to be ready to back up a play if it goes through. Can't lose focus.
Toofy creeping in from first as Burdette fouls off the 1-0.
You got to trust all the reps you had in the summer, in the fall, in the early part of the season. You got to trust the practice time. You got to trust those extra weights you lifted. You got to trust all that stuff. Instinctively play softball, but be locked in mentally. This is the part of the season you don't want to have a mental lapse because it sabotages all that hard work.
1-1, hit towards second, flip to second for one on a first double play.
Did that hit off of De La Cruz's leg, or did it skip past her?
It skipped past her. It was a tailor-made double play ball, 4-6-3, as we'll watch again.
It looked like it almost kicked back towards second off of something, the rubber or her leg. No, it did get past her. Okay, I thought maybe she'd clipped it because it looked like it was kind of funneled right to the second baseman, and a great job turning two. That's a little bit harder in softball than it is in baseball. I'm amazed how many double plays we've seen this week.
Here's to Shields now with the bases empty, 2 outs, and being able to be on the receiving end of that double play, being 2 feet at first, has given her a surge of adrenaline.
Oh, she's, as soon as she gets that, she hot dogs it with the stretch, and then it's just fist pumps, man. Fist pumps. We got it. Love watching her play defense. More so for the histrionics than anything else.
Oh,
she gets into it.
She does. And remember the first time, I'll never forget the first time I watched her play, I was like, this is the most exciting player that I've gotten to see in person.
Yeah, and a lot of coaches worry when you go to a neutral site game that you won't be able to generate enough energy. That's not the worry with Tufi, the Alaskan Energizer Bunny.
Fly ball.
Great effort!
Foul ground.
That's a great effort! Good job, kid!
Diving effort out in right field that just comes up a little empty by Galaz, but that's the all-out championship effort you have to have. You can't say, well, I'm not going to get to that. I'm not going to go chase that down. No, none of that happens this week.
And that's not hot dogging. That's laying out for your team. You're telling your teammates, I'm going to go do what I can to try to get that out. We've seen a few good diving catches this week. And Galaz, again, she was a DP as late as week 7 of conference, and they're going to check on her health. She may have just kind of lost a little bit of wind there. As a former outfielder, I'll tell you, if there's been rain, it's a little bit wet. Those are a little softer to land. It's kind of fun to slide.
Well, Galaz there, though, she said she kind of tapped the chest right under the diaphragm. She said, yeah, got the wind knocked out of me. Took the wind right out of the sails.
When you go horizontal like that, that's going to happen. And that's good. You're selling yourself to try to get that out. You just need a second. Catch it.
But if you've ever had the wind knocked out of you, it only happened to me a few times. That's just not a fun sensation.
Panic a little bit.
You do.
Breathing is supposed to be automatic, and when breathing's not working correctly, you panic a little bit. It's like getting like a piece of ice or something stuck in your throat. Anything that inhibits something you don't have to think about doing, now all of a sudden you have to think about doing it, a little panic sets in. She's all right. She's just hoping the ball doesn't get hit to her for at least one more batter. Let me gather it up out here.
1-2. And DeShields fouls off another one. We had an epic at bat earlier today. We were watching. It was in the Western Kentucky game, but there was
it was like 12 or 13 pitches.
10 foul balls.
It was amazing. It's amazing for a pitcher to throw that many strikes. They get frustrated at batters that do that. But I believe in the at bat that the pitcher was changing speeds on her, and it didn't matter. She was still fouling them off. It was a great at bat. Those are epic, fun parts of softball games.
Fly ball right back to Galaz. She has to cover a lot of territory, and she's up to the task. So a single does not come back to bite Louisiana Tech. Still tied at 2 as we roll on to the 5th. as we go to the top of the 5th inning, it's a 2-2 ball game between Louisiana Tech and Marshall. And for Louisiana Tech, it'll be Jensen, then Crowder, then Charters, 9-1 and 2. And I think that both pitchers, that was the inning they needed to kind of catch their breath and get back into their rhythm.
Yep, they want to lock back in.
Ground ball. Zirkle gets under her glove.
Now that's a hit. I mean, she has to run a long way to it. If she's going to make that play, it's going to be an amazing play. And she's certainly capable of an amazing play, but I think it got past her.
It was a hit, but it makes us go back and appreciate the snag that Crowder made a few innings back. Because that is an all-world shortstop.
But for the first time today, Dixon's got a pitch with the leadoff runner on base. She's always had one out when the leadoff runner got on, and that changes what La Tech will and wants to do.
Crowder's 1 for 2 with a single. Crowder took a big rip at the rise ball and misses.
She's an unusual leadoff hitter because she's a power hitter, 6 homers. But she's got that speed, 3 triples. So she's versatile, but I would not bunt her here. I want her to hit. Yeah, I want to run, but if I take the bat out of basically one of my best hitters' hands and we don't come through, I've wasted her at bat. If this was the 6th inning, I would say bunt her around.
1-1 pitch, she swings away. And getting over to it is Durazio for the out along the right field line.
She just missed it. That's the risk you run, but you don't second guess it because Crowder has proven time and again, 56, 57 times with hits, that she's going to deliver for you.
Here's Tori Charters. Was a great close-up of Dixon just a pitch before. She is absolutely locked in.
She's got the face.
She does.
You didn't want her to find that face again because when she pitches with confidence, she's just that much better. And she's already doggone good to begin with.
Boy, that really, watching that, I think McCord, Dixon, myself, we were all thinking that was going to be a strike, but it was ball 1. To Tori Charters. Charters reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 2-run, 3-hit third. Also walked in the first. It's put into play towards third, throw up to second for 1. And so Charters reaches on the fielder's choice again. Jensen is retired 5-4, getting the lead runner.
Yeah, that's a good play by Braxton. She's in position. She knew that Charters had choked up on her bat. She knew it was basically a swinging slap. She's in position. She feels it. She checks to make sure she's got it. Fires to second. Makes that look very routine. It's good positioning, too, defensively.
Morgan Turcoli has reached on a fielder's choice. Is lined out to second base. First pitch strike into Turcoli here in the top of the 5th.
And that just makes Dixon harder to hit against when she's getting that first pitch strike call. You cannot get too far behind her because then all of the different pitches start coming into play.
Runner goes, throw offline and thrown into right center field, but Charters is going to stay put at second base. She had no interest in trying to test the arm of Triboulet in center.
20 stolen bases now in the season for Charters, and I'm surprised that she got such a good jump because Dixon doesn't usually give up that kind of jump. She was dead set on taking that bag with an 0-1 count.
So 1 ball, 1 strike to Turcoli, but a base hit could put Louisiana Tech back in the lead.
If you allowed Coach Montgomery to hand-pick the batter he'd want in this situation, she's already in the box.
Three-hole hitter of this team that has done so much throughout the years in Ruston. Line drive to third, and that ends the inning. So the line drive to third by Turcoli, no runs on a hit, no errors, 1 left. As we go to the bottom of the 5th, still tied at 2 between the Herd and the Texters. It's the bottom third of the order coming up for the Marshall Thundering Herd. Abigail Estrada, Jordan Cauliflower, Chase Trebele. Estrada 0 for 1, Cauliflower 0 for 1. Trebele, a bunt single and came in a score on a Louisiana Tech error in that 2-run third inning. And Estrada swings away first pitch and fouls it away. Estrada banged up that right shoulder a little bit in the FIU game when diving for a ball down the left field line. And Brian, I had to remind you about it a little bit, but it was a little bit of a scary situation for her, and glad to see she's okay.
Yeah, she almost dropped a ball right down on the line in left field where she hurt herself in that first game today. She almost had a double.
Hits it back up the middle, and it's booted at short as misplayed that time by Crowder. And not a routine play, but one that could have been made.
Yeah, that didn't look like a super funky hop. I think it looked like she just missed it.
So we see it again in slower motion. Ooh.
Yeah, it looked like she just missed it. I would rule that an error, and that's what they've done here.
So the E6 has Estrada on base.
Leadoff runners on base. Avoid those if you can help it.
So let's see what we're going to have here. We've got a pinch hitter. This is going to be Maddie Marshall coming in to hit for Jordan Cauliflower, who had struck out swinging in the third. Estrada at first. Estrada 10 for 11 in the stolen base department this year.
She's an outfielder, so if you're an outfielder, you better be ready to run when I call you to run, and you better get there and be safe.
1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0 pitch, bunt put down. Estrada gets to second, 2 feet. Takes the only play that is available to her as she goes back to Jensen. Covering the bag at first, and a very appreciative dugout of the job that Marshall came in and did there to advance over Estrada in a scoring position with 1 out.
Yeah, and the thing was they were having to play the bunt, so they weren't holding her on over there so she could get that huge lead. And off of contact, she's got a bigger running head start than she would if she's got to worry about a throwback to first. So that's an extra step that Coach Stanton can give her because of the Louisiana Tech defense.
Another pinch hitter coming into the ball game here for the Marshall Thundering Herd. This is going to be Brianna Dice into the ball game here for Marshall. Dice went 0 for 2 in the first game in this tournament, then popped up to short, pinch hitting in the 8th spot in the 7th of the game against FIU, and takes ball 1 here.
You've got to have all of your pinch hitters ready. And in a game when you might not think you have a shot, you got to get them in there in pressure situations so she's ready for moments like this.
De La Cruz delivers. And it's fouled back, and it's 1-1. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Just making sure that the ones you're going to use and might really need at a later time have at least gotten a feel for the day, a feel for the weekend.
Yep. It's important. It's something that's hard to, you got to work your way into there. And work them in when you can, because if you don't, they won't be ready. You don't give them a chance to get live reps. And these aren't practice at-bats. These are live at-bats against a pitcher trying to get you out.
And a tie game at 2 in the bottom of the 5th. 2-1, lined to second and doubling off the runner at second base as it ends the inning. And it comes to a shocking close. So 5 complete here in Hattiesburg, tied at 2 in an elimination game on Friday night.
Contacting right field, Jordan Cauliflower. And center field, number 21, Eloise Triple A. Leading off for the Lady Dexters in the top of the 16.
Taria Page, Pauline Tufy, Berkeley Callip, 4, 5, and 6. Middle of the third, due up for Louisiana Tech in the top of the 6th inning. In a game tied at 2, all of our runs came in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, it was no hits, no runs through 2, then 2 runs apiece. We've got 5 runners left on, and these last 2 innings look like the first 2 innings. Just a whole lot of nothing.
Except good defensive play.
Great
after
defensive
good
play,
defensive
yeah,
play.
good pitching, great defense.
Oh my goodness, the 0-1. And it's now a ball and a strike. It was interesting, going back to pitching and defense, the Western Kentucky Louisiana Tech game, I said that it would probably be the first team that scored going into the top of the 4th inning with this young lady at the plate. She led off the top of the 4th in that game, and I made that statement, and I was exactly right.
Yeah.
And if we go another inning, it will probably be the next team that scores that wins the game.
Maybe, because these teams, as they showed us here in this game, they score in bunches. They don't usually score 1. They usually score 2 or 3. I think it's a 4-3 kind of game. I think each team's going to score again. But Marshall tends to get 2 or 3 instead of just 1. They're and then we talked about the La Tech team yesterday with the big inning. They've gotten 4 innings like 15, 16 times this year.
Well, I lean on your expertise.
Oh,
again.
stop it! You've seen enough softball here. You got a handle on these teams. It's going to be a 1-run game. We both agree on that.
We do both agree. And Page goes down looking on strikes. And here comes Pauline Tufy and Jordan Dixon.
I just hope it's not a mistake that causes the 1 run. I want it to be clean softball so everyone feels good about the way they played. It's really hard to get Paige out. And that was a great pitch. There wasn't anything she thought she could do with that pitch.
Tufy takes ball 1. Tufy is 0 for 2. She struck out looking in the 2nd. Flew out to center field to end the 3rd. Something about Dixon just makes her so compelling to watch, just the process of how she goes about her craft.
She doesn't make all the facial expressions that we've seen some of the other pitchers. She just puts that intense face on. She does have a mental thing she's processing as she's going through, but she's not giving any of it away to you. If you've got the best of her, she won't show you. Because there's a little satisfaction when you get someone and they kind of show their frustration, yet that sort of fires you up a little bit. She won't let you have that. I mean, she's got 1,000 strikeouts in her career. You think one batter's going to get to her? No. She knows what she's doing. She's the best that this league has to offer, according to the votes and the stats. But this La Tech team will not be intimidated. They just won't be. Tufy's going to stand in there and take pitches she thinks are balls and take a hack at something she thinks is a strike. And she's not making the faces she makes when she's out there playing defense, where she's animated and she's into it. She's locked back into the back of her head right now, going through her processes of, all right, this is what I expect to see in this pitch. I'm looking for this. I will let this go by. She's getting her kind of mental rhythm set up as she gets ready to take a hack at Dixon. She knows she's facing the best.
31-7 record for Dixon, extremely solid. And then strikeouts closing in on 290. She's got 281 right now. And then the ERA at 1.75. Opponents batting 187 against her. And all that goes for pitchers like Dixon, De La Cruz, Sale for FIU. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss by Tufy.
Got it with the rise ball. She hadn't thrown one in a few pitches. It starts to climb the ladder. Tufy expects what she has seen, and Dixon shows her something she hasn't seen, and she can't connect with it.
And there's a game face there that is.
Watch it rise on her. It looks like it's
so
going to be
intense.
belt high, and it comes up to the letters. She's swinging where it was, not where it is. Because you throw underhand, the rise ball is something you see that you don't see in baseball, so it's a little weird to step in there and try to hit it.
Dixon working ahead of these Louisiana Tech hitters. The count to 0-1. Callip already 0 for 2 on the day. Callip goes into right field where Cauliflower was there, and she was playing more towards the line and right. Another 1-2-3 inning for Dixon and the Herd. They'll get another crack at the plate when we come back in the bottom of the 6th. Still tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Josh Wessel alongside Ryan Rose here from Hattiesburg, Mississippi at the Southern Miss Softball Complex. Winner gets FIU at noon tomorrow for the Conference USA Tournament Championship.
Tie ball game facing Morgan Zirkle? I don't think so. That's not fun.
Zirkle lays down the bunt and just blazing a trail to first, gets there with no throw.
Sorry for jumping in that moment there. I was just looking at the graphic that showed you the due up, and I was like, oh, you just don't get a break with this lineup, especially not at the top.
Now, Zirkle, D'Orazio, McCord coming in batting to the tournament, 476, 412, 382 respectively.
Her job is to move the runner over. That's her only job.
Ground ball misplayed by Crowder. She had the glove in her glove hand. It was in the mitt, and she reached out and touched the bag with her bare hand.
Yeah, the ball slipped out, and so she barehanded it and tapped the bag with it. That's an out. That's you know, whatever you can do to get the out, get the out. The ball kind of, she squirted away, and she had to kind of lay out for it, and then she just slammed the ball down on the bag like a judge would a gavel. Case dismissed, boom, you're out. That was a big play. Because otherwise we've got...
I didn't even see that. I didn't even see that, Ryan.
It popped out of her hand, and so she's desperate to try to get it to the second baseman cover, and it's not going to happen. So she has to just barehand it and then tap it on the bag as the runner comes sliding in, Zirkle.
Well, I'd love to see it again whenever the guys who have been doing a phenomenal job on the replays get it. I would love to see it again as there's a hit batter. After D'Orazio had reached on a fielder's choice, McCord is hit by a pitch, and let's see, man, hopefully we'll get a chance to see it again.
That's tough too. That's your catcher that just got popped in the elbow. That's your throwing arm. So mental notes made by La Tech. He surely didn't do it on purpose, but it's something to consider moving forward when you get base runners on. This is a golden opportunity here for Marshall. We sort of alluded to it there when talking about having to face Zirkle and the 1, 2, 3 and all that stuff. These are the productive hitters. So now they've got runners on base. You get into the heart of the order. You've got to really lock it in here because this is a golden chance to score in the 6th for Marshall.
Won't get a chance to go back and watch that play, but I thought she had scooped it into the glove and slapped with the bare hand. I thought it was in the glove. Okay, so if you had it in the glove and you stepped with your foot, that's an out. Was it not in the glove
she
slapped it with her bare hand?
She was still 3 paces from the bag when she got to the ball. So what she was intending to do was scoop and flip to second to start 2. But when she went to the glove, it came out of her glove and she had to go to the ground to get it. At that point, there was no double play. She had to get an out, so she grabbed it with her bare hand and tapped the bag. She dropped the ball.
Well, there's a fancy stolen base. How about that?
Throw down to second and behind the runner.
D'Orazio said, thank you very much. I'll take third. And there's runners at the corners now. But to close the book on that play, if you had the ball in your glove and you couldn't get the glove to the bag and you slapped with your bare hand, that is still an out. The hand's like your foot.
Yeah, touch the bag. If you control the ball, any part of you, you could tag it with your nose and there's an out.
Right.
Any part of you.
And see,
as long as you control the ball. It doesn't have to be with the ball.
That's what I thought I saw. Wow, that play happened so fast. Again, Crowder just finding a way at shortstop.
Just make an out. Get the out, especially the lead runner. That gets you out of a lot of jams, getting that lead runner out. Well, now you've got runners at the corner, so you have to worry about all the plays in the playbook, the double steal tries, all the distractionary things you do to mess up a pitcher. You got to guard against the wild pitch, the passed ball, all those things. This is a critical series of at-bats here for Marshall. And here's a young lady whose error allowed the second run to score in the third with a second chance to make up for it. She got the hit earlier, and now she can get the go-ahead RBI.
So here is Shaylin Braxton. With the last moment, she tried to sneak down a bunt and fouls it off. That ball got to her in a hurry.
Yeah, and you don't expect your cleanup hitter to do that. That's why it's a good play. But the element of surprise is now out after they huddled up and talked about it. So the jig is up here. The third baseman's going to be ready for it. And the first baseman's going to come in on the cleanup hitter.
This creates some different angles. 2 feet creeps up within probably 18 to 20 feet of home plate.
Even 2 feet has to be a little worried about being that close to the cleanup hitter of Marshall.
Takes guts.
Takes crazy is what it takes.
2-1 hit way up into the Hattiesburg skyline, and that is just foul. Holy moly, was that ball hammered.
Remember when I was saying that the air was heavy and you weren't going to be able to hit one out? Braxton has the juice to hit one out.
She hit that one almost as high as she did fall.
Yeah, it bounced off the ceiling.
Oh, my goodness.
That brought some cloud down with it. And it's probably dented. That's a useless softball now. And we're trying the double steal thing, and it's going to get a runner to second, and they're going to throw down, and a run's going to score. No, she's out. Look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
She got caught, and the runner ran into her arm, which constitutes a tag.
The runner ran into her arm.
If she's got control of the ball, that just like the base, it constitutes a tag. If you have control of the ball and you make contact with the runner, that's an out. And it was the glove arm, too, because she was reaching into the baseline to catch it.
So out at home.
With the glove. That's amazing.
The game stays tied at 2 as we'll watch it again.
Watch the catcher. The catcher's the player to watch. Forget that. That's just going to be safe. Watch the catcher. Boom, and the tag. Got the ball, boom. She contacted her, and as long as you sell to the umpire that I tagged her, you're going to get that out.
So we stay tied at 2 with now 2 outs and a runner at second base, which is McCord. D'Orazio out at home.
The old 2-6-4-2. and the runner from first goes to second just on the throw. You don't get a stolen base because both runners have to be safe.
Runners now at first and second after a 2-out walk. And here's Allie Burdett. Back at the plate, does have a couple of hits in this tournament. Ball and no strikes now to Burdett.
Man, things turned in just a second. You got the leadoff runner aboard.
It's been a wacky box score in this inning. Burdett tries to turn on one and rip it down the left field line. The count evens at 1-1. A bunt single, a fielder's choice, then a stolen base, hit batter, a walk, a play at the plate, a tag at the plate.
The fielder's choice was a ball literally slapped on the base because the shortstop couldn't field the ball.
Nearly pulled fair by Burdett down the left field line, and now it's 1-2. And De La Cruz is a strike away now from escaping this crazy inning.
Yeah, La Tech is going to have a lot of energy if they can get a third out here. Now they're going to throw the bottom of the order in the inning, but they're going to really get a shot of adrenaline for this inning if they come out without any damage. And De La Cruz has a lot to do with it. She's been pitching very well here.
It's down and away, 2-2.
This is for a sophomore to be in a spot like this, to be opposing the pitcher of the year, we really haven't made anything of that. And De La Cruz hasn't shown any signs of weakness. She hasn't shown no bad body language. She has done what she's been asked to do. Very calm in the circle. That's got to have a great influence on her infield.
The 2-2 pitch is sent slicing foul towards the Louisiana Tech bullpen and off the light pole. So it'll stay at 2-2. The designated player, Allie Burdett, young lady who has a chance right here. Out of Buffalo, West Virginia. Hits it well into right, reaching up though to make the play in right field as Galas to end the inning. So all of the craziness, 2 runners are left on base, and we stay tied going to the 7th here in Hattiesburg. Well, ho-hum, we go to the 7th tie. Marshall, Louisiana Tech, just a berth in the conference championship on the line. 23rd ranked Marshall fell down 2-0 going to the bottom of the 3rd. They answered right back, tied it up, had a chance, a really good chance to take the lead in the sixth, and Louisiana Tech with clutch plays, including a tag out at home plate. And leading things off will be Marilyn Rosado, the freshman. Rosado, Galaz, Jensen. 7, 8, and 9. Due up, Rosado, as you see, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Pitch comes in to even the count.
And watch Dixon. She's throwing a little bit of extra juice in there. Just watch her stride. And keep her calm, not let her overthrow here.
She threw that one extremely hard. It was sent high into the air in right field, where Cauliflower puts it away for the first out. That's a big first out.
Yeah, when you get late in the game, it's the leadoff runner that's the most dangerous runner, because again, it messes with the way the next batter bats. It messes with the way you want to set your defense. It really throws off the plans you have. It messes with all the situational stuff you have to think about. You have to invite a lot of other thoughts in there.
Cassie Harris at the plate, pinch hitting. And taking a strike for Harris. It's the first time we've seen her in this tournament. A 129 hitter, 4 hits and 31 at-bats on the season. She fouls off the 0-1 straight back, and it's 0-2.
And you put her in there and you say, swing the bat. Say, Dixon's going to be in the strike zone. Swing the bat.
No balls, 2 strikes. Only 1 walk, and that was the second batter of the game for Dixon. Since then, she struck out 5, and she struck out 6 in the ballgame. 0-2, she got a piece of it.
Dixon's just been fabulous. And you get one guess who Marshall will throw tomorrow if they win this game. You only need one guess.
And she won Sale and the Panthers as well. 0-2. It's fouled straight back by Harris, so the count stays at no balls and 2 strikes.
Either team that wins this game will have a redemption against FIU, because FIU beat La Tech on Thursday and then Marshall today, both division winners. So you got the West Division champ versus the East Division champ, and either of them would like another crack at the Panthers tomorrow.
0-2 pitch. There's that rise ball that's so tough to catch up with.
After what she threw her in the at-bat, she won't be able to find it. It just comes up to your eyes and you're just not ready for it. She hasn't seen it. Watch how far this ball comes up. It looks waist high and then zoop, it goes right up to her collarbone level, and a left-handed batter can't make that adjustment fast enough to get the bat up there. It's a ball, but it looks so tasty.
Carly Jensen lays down a bunt, making Dixon work. Jensen hustling up the line. The throw got away. Jensen is safe. She did not turn on the base path. Durazio was trying to make her think she did, trying to come back and tag her. And she wisely just ignored her and walked back to first.
How about 3 hits for Jensen down there? And that just lets Crowder have an impact. Because if Crowder can find a gap, then La Tech can take a lead into a final frame.
Jaslyn Crowder is 1 for 3 with a single. Going back to the Panthers of FIU, they are combined against the teams remaining in this tournament 7-1.
The division leaders. They're the only team to beat both division leaders this year in a series. And only one other team beat Marshall twice this year. That's number 3 Florida State. And I think the last time La Tech got swept was the start of the 2016 conference season. They didn't get swept this year. So FIU did something nobody else did, and they did 2 things to 2 teams that nobody else did it against.
Well, I'm high on that Panther team.
Yeah, but whomever it is, it's going to be a great game, because these are the best 3 teams in the league by record. So you're getting the quality that, the double elimination sort of sets up for that. It lets the best teams come through if you play your best softball. And that's what you're going to get tomorrow. You're going to get the best game out of the tournament you can get, because all the storylines are there. All the competitors know each other. It's just going to be lace it up and let's go.
There's the walk to Jaslyn Crowder.
Well, I said you had 7, 8, and 9, but now you're back into 1, 2, and 3 with base runners.
So Torrey Charter's going to be coming up with runners at first and second base, 2 outs. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Bottom of the 7th inning, not as scary as it could be for Louisiana Tech. They'll face DeShields, Estrada, and Cauliflower scheduled up in that order.
That pep talk, there was no strategy there. That was I believe in you chat from Coach Stanton. Giving them a little shot of energy, let them take a breath. Just give them a breath, let them collect their thoughts, lock it back in, and just say, I believe in you, believe in each other.
If some of you wondered if that was ball 3 to Jaslyn Crowder, it was because there was 3 balls thrown. There was a ball called before the at-bat started to Crowder. And there's a pitch that gets away, and that would be a pass ball on McCord. That was infinitely catchable. And so now the go-ahead run is at third, and there are a pair of runners in scoring position on a 1-0 count to Torrey Charters.
And the umpire can call a ball if you're taking too long. Or he can call losing contact with the rubber, but this was a not a stall but a delay. The umpire has the right to call a ball if you are fooling the batters.
Put into play towards short. Tough play, and it's not in time, and a run scores.
She couldn't get the ball out of her glove. It was unfortunate. Might have been a little sticky. Couldn't get the ball out of her glove. She fielded it cleanly, but took a second reach back in her glove, and that was just, you're at the top of the order. Charters is fast. She's her center fielder. She's going to beat that out.
An RBI infield single, and you're right, Circle just couldn't get it out of the mitt.
Scoop, and it sort of bobbled in there, kind of slid in her glove, and when she reached her hand in there, the ball wasn't where she thought it would be.
So the pass ball that allowed the runners to advance, and the infield hit brings in a run. Runners now at the corners, throw up, and now we've got another run in for Louisiana Tech, and on the delayed play, the tag is made.
The run
counts. It doesn't
counts.
matter. Louisiana Tech got the run in prior to the tag, and Louisiana Tech gets a run of insurance as McCord tried to throw it to second on the delay double steal, and it worked. 4-2 Louisiana Tech going to the bottom of the 7th.
Leading off the bottom of the 7th inning from Marshall. First baseman, Elizabeth DeShields.
Four to 2. Louisiana Tech leads Marshall. And it's DeShields at the plate. Popping
Out
up
of play,
in
out
foul
of play, out of
ground
play!
with Tuffy giving chase, and it gets out of play. 4 runs on 6 hits, 2 errors for Louisiana Tech, 2 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the Marshall Thundering Herd. And the 23rd ranked Thundering Herd right now backs against the wall. I think Marshall's in. I think FIU's in. If Louisiana Tech is able to hold on and win, then they got a chance to maybe punch an automatic and make it a 3-bid league this year.
Maybe. The worry if you're FIU is that La Tech takes an at-large available spot that you would want if you can't come through tomorrow. But certainly it's in play. Marshall doesn't, you don't want to leave it in the doubt of a committee, some group of people in a room in Indianapolis. You want to take care of it here. And unfortunately for Marshall, the bottom 4 in the order, which is basically what they have up if they're going to score some runs, is 1 for 8.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to the Shields. She's 0 for 2, grounded out to second in the second, flew out to right in the 4th. 1-2, hit on the nose to left field, a single. And so this Marshall team brings the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 7th. We knew this would happen. There was a score that you threw out earlier. You felt like somebody would win this game. It felt like a 4-3 game.
And I didn't say who would win. I didn't know who would win. I mean, I'm just throwing out a score there. When it was 2-2, I felt like each team was going to score at least another run, which meant it would take 4 to win. I still think that. I honestly think Marshall's going to score this inning. I don't know how many. They just have been held down so long.
Has the Powerball drawn tonight? Do you have any other feeling on numbers?
Well, De La Cruz has just been good. She's had some base runners, but she's just been steady. She hasn't been overpowering, but she's fooled enough of the Marshall hitters to keep them off base for the most part. They've been damaged. All the damage been done at the top of the order. That's why I thought they would have scored in the 6th, facing the top of the lineup.
Strike comes in on the inside corner to Estrada, and it's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to the 7-hole hitter. Swing and a miss by Estrada, and there's the first out of the inning. And the Thundering Herd, the regular season champions, 23rd ranked team in the country, ranked in both polls, and a team looking for their first tournament championship since 2013. Down at 2 outs, down 2, and again with the tying run at the plate. And we will see coming up to the plate for Marshall, it will be Hayden Ellis. And Ellis enters batting 128. She struck out swinging.
This is a good lesson for young players. If you're not starting and you're sitting on the bench, even if you're cheering and doing what you're supposed to do from an energy standpoint, you have got to watch the pitcher. You've got to pay attention to what she's throwing to different hitters and know when you step in what you're going to see. You got to be ready because your team may need you, not a throwaway at bat. They may put you in because they believe in something you can do or because the previous batter didn't have any success. So you've got to be ready. You got to be locked in. What is she throwing? What is she throwing well? What is she staying away from? As she walks more early than late, you got to be on top of it.
0-1 pitch. And the appeal, she did not go, and the count is 1-1. Ellis actually struck out looking in the 4th of the last ball game. And then actually yesterday lined out to center field, hitting in this same spot, pitch hitting for Cauliflower. 1 ball and 1 strike. DeShields at first with 1 out. De La Cruz delivers. Swing and a miss on a rise ball. And it's 1-2, and we've bragged all night about that Dixon rise ball, but that was pretty darn good as well.
Yeah, De La Cruz looked like she went back and got some little extra there. That had a little bit more juice than she had thrown in the last inning. She really reached back for one there. And that sets up a good changeup if you've got it. You don't have to throw a strike here, but you don't want to be wide of the catcher with the base runner.
As Ellis fights off the pitch there on the 1-2 delivery.
That was a strikeout pitch just off the outside corner. She was trying to get that call. if Ellis doesn't swing at it. It was a good pitch.
One, two. Called strike three. Froze Ellis looking, and that was almost an identical pitch to the last one.
It looked like a curveball. It had a little bit of tail to it. It spun from inside to outside of the plate, and it caught the corner. Look at it. It has just a kind of little hump to it. Right off the outside corner, got the call. Good frame job by the catcher.
Well, and so many times you can just, by the way you pinch that softball as the bunt was popped up and nearly caught in foul ground for out number 3. But so many times you're seeing pitchers more and more throw, just like in baseball, multiple fastballs. You're seeing a fastball that breaks slightly in, slightly out, multiple fastballs to simplify, to keep the release the same, to locate better, and to simplify what you're doing.
Different kinds of spin really messes with a batter. That's how you're down here to Triboulet, who had the only hit of the bottom of the order. She had that bunt single back in the 3rd. Very good with the bat. Like I said earlier, kind of a second leadoff hitter if you need her to be.
Yeah, bunt single and scored. Bunt laid down, scoop by 2 feet, throw to first, and Louisiana Tech has advanced to the championship. Their energetic run continues, and the celebrations in the stands are as good as the one on the field, as Louisiana Tech will take on FIU. The regular season champion will not double dip with the tournament championship. Marshall, they've done work, I believe, in the regular season. Their season is not done. The 23rd ranked Thundering Herd, though, will not be picking up any additional hardware this week here in Hattiesburg. Ryan, your final thoughts.
De La Cruz was excellent. She did exactly what she needed them to do. She held the top hitting team in the league to 6 hits. Louisiana Tech found enough energy offensively. They matched Marshall, defensive play for defensive play. They did enough to win. Do they have enough left in the tank? Can they win in their 5th game in 4 days, essentially, after playing Wednesday, 1 Thursday, 2 Friday, and now they're having to play on Sunday at noon? They're going to face Shannon Sale, who has their number. They haven't beaten her this year. Can you beat a team 5 times? I don't even know what sport you can play somebody 5 times in, but you're about to find out tomorrow. It'll be 1 o'clock Eastern.
Well, for Louisiana Tech, if you had asked them who do they want to play, they, as competitors, they want another crack. They're going to get it, and we'll see.
You want to beat the best. You just beat the East Division leading team. Now you want to go beat the 2 seed and prove it's not a fluke. It's not like we stumbled through a game against an 8 seed or somebody who maybe shouldn't be here. It's out right there in front of you, and they're happy about it. Hey, they're survive and advance. They survived Marshall, now they advance to Saturday. All the teams, they just want to play on Saturday. It doesn't matter who it's against. You got 1 versus 3. You're going to have a good final.
I think Coach Montgomery's post-game huddles are the best in the league as well.
They're animated.
They are animated. They are energetic. The Louisiana Tech pre-game huddle cheers, the bouncing, the energy, it extends out.
We're going to talk to Coach in a second. He's going to get ready to come over here. And hopefully the sky does not open up and it doesn't start raining on me.
Just in case.
And if it does, then it'll make for a very funny reel.
Because,
okay, sweet.
In the morning. There's a
She's
great
coming over
look
here
at
now.
our crew. There's a great look at Maddie. Maybe she'll wave across at us as we'll be going to her in just a moment. Boy, our crew's been so phenomenal throughout the week. Let's go to Maddie Morris, standing by now with Coach.
Pretty awesome, man. Pretty awesome. I mean, it's an emotional game, and I mean, I think it was probably the best game of the tournament thus far, just my opinion. Just a lot of chess moves, a lot of gamemanship on both sides in terms of just doing it, but the emotions were high on both teams, and both teams wanted it so bad. I mean, credit Marshall. They played so hard. I mean, you hate for their season to end in that kind of game, but I think they're going to go on to the NCAA, so happy for them, and, you know, we'll get our shot tomorrow maybe to make it there as well.
getting up on the board first, and then they kind of came back and rallied. What did your girls have to find that power within to just keep going?
Well, they were drained from the first game, and then all of a sudden I saw the emotion dipping. I called timeout. I walked over and said, you got to give everything we got right now, even with 2 strikes, 2 outs. It doesn't matter. We have to maintain that energy. It's just so important. But you know what? I really am impressed because they did it, and they came on strong at the end, and they found a way to push a couple more across.
And now they get their second chance at FIU. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you know what? Hell, FIU's handled us like crazy, so I don't know, maybe I'll come up with something between now and then. But you know what? They're excited, and the opportunity to play tomorrow is just all we can ask for.
Well, congratulations, Coach. We'll see you
Thank
tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Well, Maddie Morris is always a great job, and boy, very excited Coach Montgomery, and there you see the cheers breaking out on the field. That's a wrap on our coverage. Special thanks once again to all of our crew. It's been a great week as this wraps our coverage. Tune in tomorrow to CBS Sports Network as they will have the coverage of the championship game at the Conference USA Softball Tournament. Louisiana Tech FIU tomorrow for the whole ball of wax. For Ryan Rose, I'm Josh West. You've been watching BN Sports.